Jorden Van Foreest just walked into a calculated tactical nightmare, and Praggnanandhaa is holding the knife. In this game from the Saint Louis Rapid Blitz, we see a masterclass on how to dismantle a solid Ruy Lopez structure. Was White's strategy flawed from the jump, or did Pragg just play the endgame of his life? Let's dive into the carnage. The Ruy Lopez. It is the gold standard of positional chess, but here, the tension is palpable. White is looking to put immediate pressure on the e5 pawn and the knight on c6. Pragg chooses the modern approach, keeping his structure flexible. This isn't just about opening theory. It is about establishing a base for the middle game maneuvering that defines modern grandmaster play. A crucial moment. White pushes d5, closing the center. This is a very specific commitment. By pushing, White is trying to restrict Black's mobility and carve out space. But notice how this fixes the pawn structure. For the next 20 moves, this decision will dictate the flow of the game, limiting pieces and creating fixed targets for both players to obsess over. Bishop g5, the aggressive probe. Van Foreest is looking to create weaknesses in Black's kingside. By attacking the h6 square, he forces Pragg to make a decision. Will he weaken his pawn shield? This is a test of nerves. At this level, one slight miscalculation regarding the safety of the king usually leads to a complete collapse. Knight b5. An absolutely thematic maneuver. White is trying to exploit the holes in the dark squares. By jumping into the center with the knight, he challenges the control Black has exerted on the queen side. But look at the board. The exchange is inevitable. This forces a trade that changes the entire nature of the position, shifting it toward a tactical skirmish. Bishop d1. This is a retreat, but it is defensive mastery. White is preparing to reposition, but in doing so, he gives Pragg the initiative. Sometimes, the most passive-looking moves are the ones that signal a shift in momentum. White thinks he is solidifying, but he is actually allowing the pressure to build right on top of his position. King f1. The king is shuffling, trying to find a safer harbor, but the rooks are now fully active on the c-file. The position has crystallized into a heavy piece struggle where every tempo counts. The rooks, once secondary pieces, are now the main protagonists, and any slip-up here means instant material loss. g3. A move that looks like a calm consolidation, but it is a massive blunder. It creates an opening for Black's knight to leap into the fray. Suddenly, that h3 knight becomes a monster piece. It creates a tactical instability that White is simply not equipped to handle, and Pragg recognizes the weakness immediately. King e2. The king tries to step out, but the knight takes f2 is a hammer blow. This is the sequence that broke the game open. By allowing the knight to penetrate, White has effectively signed his own death warrant. The coordination between the knight and the rooks for Black is now simply too overwhelming for the white pieces to hold. Bishop takes g6, a desperate simplification. White is trying to remove the attacking pieces to reach a drawish endgame, but the pawn structure is so shattered that it is beyond repair. Pragg is calculating perfectly. knowing that the structural integrity of his past pawns will outplay the minor pieces. Bishop e3, a final attempt to guard the queenside, but look at the activity of that black rook on d5. It is cutting off the board, preventing the white king from participating effectively. This is textbook endgame technique, using a rook to restrict the enemy king while your own king marches toward glory. Rook d7, the final nail in the coffin. Black's king is dancing into the heart of white's position, and the white king is completely trapped. There is no counterplay left. The coordination between the rook, the king, and the advancing pawns is just too much to handle. Knight d3. It is over. The a-pawn is a lethal weapon that white cannot stop. This game was a testament to Prag's ability to capitalize on the slightest structural looseness. Jorden Van Foreest put up a fight, but he was slowly suffocated in an endgame that should be studied by every aspiring player. Praggnanandhaa really showed us how to grind down a top-tier opponent with clinical precision. This game is a perfect example of why you never let your guard down, even in a quiet position. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Chess 64 Elite Academy right now for more elite chess content.